destruction, obliteration, ravage. All three of these words describe one Arrancar that we all know that Ichigo fought. His name is Grimmjow. Grimmjow played a really pivotal role in the Arrancar arc as well as Ichigo's potential and his progression. He's one of the characters that we see in Bleach that has an extreme love for battle as well as really brutal in his battles. Today I want us to go into the life of Grimmjow from a hollow up into the 1,000-year blood war. This video might contain spoilers, so keep that in mind. Before we get into the video, I want to say thank you for the support on the recent video. On my first video actually, on the Blade is Me. I really appreciate the likes and subscribes, and let's keep it going. So if you do see this video and you like Bleach, consider liking and subscribing to my channel. This is only going to be my second video, but I have a lot more coming, and I want all of you to be part of this growth to this channel. So thank you, and let's get into the video. I want to start this video off by going over when he was a hollow. During this time, this is the first time we actually start to understand what makes Vastalorde hollows. Exactly that, which is that they eat each other. Eventually, if they keep eating each other, basically they turn into a Vastalorde. During this time which we see Grimmjow, he's in a Jukas, which is the second level of Arrancar. We see him running around eating other hollows as like a panther in order to not regress back into the first stage of hollow form, because once they go back to the first form, they can't go back ever again to the second. Even as an Jukas, Grimmjow is really strong. He literally soloed the fodder Arrancar that we see in the beginning of the Arrancar arc, to which they ask for his name, and of course he responds Grimmjow. They ask Grimmjow to join him, and they tell him that they seek to be Vastalorde level hollows. They ask Grimmjow to guide them. Later they ask for Grimmjow to eat them as a sacrifice so that Grimmjow can be a Vastalorde level hollow, to which he calls the ones he ate cowards and proclaims that he is the king. Although we are unsure if when Grimmjow ate them that he became a Vastalorde level hollow, we are able to know that he is at that level once he becomes an Arrancar. We obviously know at one point he ends up meeting Aizen and he becomes an Arrancar. And that's the end of the beginning to Grimmjow's story. We can see that even before he became an Arrancar, he was somebody who expressed a lot of destruction and the resolve to be the most powerful, to be seen as the king. What I wonder is this a byproduct of D-Roy and the others following him, or was he always this way, proclaiming that he is a king before he met them? The first time we see Grimmjow is when he's in a meetup with Aizen and the other Espada, and he's judging Ukiura for not destroying the others when they were in the World of the Living. He takes it upon himself to go to the World of the Living and to destroy the captains, the lieutenants, and the other Soul Reapers. And so on his own volition, he takes the Arrancar that we see in the flashback, and he takes them, they go to the World of the Living to kill the Soul Reapers. To which he sees Rukia and Ichigo. With immense spiritual pressure, he introduces himself to the both of them. When Rukia realizes the situation and tells Ichigo to retreat, Grimmjow immediately stabs her in the stomach. The whole time of Ichigo and Grimmjow fighting, Grimmjow taunts him. He's smiling the whole time while they fight, in fact, because he has this insatiable love for battle and he loves to destroy and to win because he sees himself as the king. And so his recklessness brought him to this point. After a while, Ichigo and Grimmjow fighting, with Grimmjow completely destroying Ichigo, Tosen pulls up, and Tosen tells him that he shouldn't be doing this and that he needs to go back to Wekumundo to meet Aizen. When Aizen and Grimmjow talk, Grimmjow shows a bit of ignorance and the fact that he rejects this hierarchy of power and that he sees himself as the highest. He doesn't want to apologize to Aizen, and because of this, Tosen cuts off his arm and destroys it. And Grimmjow was going to fight Tosen. He was going to challenge him to a battle, and Aizen stops him. Eventually, Grimmjow goes back to the World of the Living and ends up fighting Ichigo again, and he actually starts to lose because of the buff that Ichigo gets from his mask. But obviously, Ichigo's mask comes off and Grimmjow starts winning, and then Shinji pulls up and actually embarrasses Grimmjow. Closer to the final fight between Ichigo and Grimmjow, we see that Grimmjow actually he becomes really obsessed with trying to fight Ichigo to prove himself as the strongest, because you got to keep in mind, at this point in time, Ichigo was getting really strong. And at one point in time, of course, Ichigo was beating Grimmjow when he had his mask on. In the Wekumundo arc, he ends up saving Orihime from her jail to get Orihime to bring Ichigo back to life so he could fight him. He doesn't care what Ukiura tells him. He doesn't care what Aizen tells him. He does what he wants. So everything I explained thus far goes to show how Grimmjow is really just somebody who's reckless and really violent and enjoys his own violence and indulging in destruction. We see that Grimmjow consistently doesn't learn from the consequences of his actions due to Aizen cutting his arm off, due to him just constantly challenging people and losing. He loses majority of his matchups he faced, besides Ichigo, and if you want to count Rukia, you can. He's one of the Espada that we see that reeks of sheer arrogance, and we see that his ignorance in battle and telling himself that he's the king and that's why he must defeat Ichigo is exactly why he loses the battle in the first place. The fact that he revives Ichigo to face him is just an aspect of his self-destructive manners that we see in his personality. The fact that he's not willing to give up a battle until he could prove himself as, I guess, worthy, or to see himself as the victor, or simply to destroy his opponents. I feel like up until the 1,000-Year Blood War, this is the energy that Grimmjow gives off as a just very destructive person, but I feel like it kind of pivots when we reach the 1,000-Year Blood War. See that in the 1,000-Year Blood War, Ichigo and Grimmjow team up to stop the Quincy. This is a version of Grimmjow we've never seen before, one that is cooperative and works with others rather than one who is destructive and only works for himself. And I feel like that's the beauty in this character once you reach the 1,000-Year Blood War and his development. He's not going around calling himself the king, nor is he trying to prove himself that he is one. He brings a new mentality into the 1,000-Year Blood War that we don't see from him. He's more level-headed and confident, but he still has that love for destruction. But he doesn't bring it upon himself, but rather for his enemies now. In the end, I feel like Grimmjow has really developed a lot, which a lot of people undermine when it comes to the 1,000-Year Blood War. How his aspect is destruction, but now it's not necessarily his only trait. We can see that he can work with others, even if he doesn't want to, and not in the form of a hierarchical manner. And it was nice to see him work with the Soul Reapers in order to take down the Quincy. Oh, but he still wants to kill Ichigo. Anyways, guys, I really do appreciate the likes and the subscribes and the comments that I've been getting. My video right now, I think it's at around like 7K views, which is crazy considering it's my first video. And I'm excited to see the growth of us and this channel and how we can explore the different aspects of Bleach. And if you made it to the end of the video, type Scion in the comments. Anyways, guys, I love you all and have a good day.